Your cardiologist knows your heart, and your mom knows how to mend your heart. Your ophthalmologist helps you see, and your best friend makes you feel seen. A visit to your physical therapist can heal your shoulder, and a visit to your grandma can heal your soul. Your health is a journey you don't take alone. Just like the people around you, all of us at Kaiser Permanente work together to help care for all that is you. Learn more at kp.org. Kaiser Permanente, for all that is you.
A common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Let's go to Ari Fleischer, the former White House press secretary. Ari, first of all, your reaction to this incredible comeback of President Trump.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is.
Ari, I woke up this morning. I live on Central Park on Fifth Avenue. The sun was shining. The trees were beautiful. The sky was beautiful.
Were the birds chirping?
I just felt great.
The birds were chirping. The sun.
To me, it was just a restoration of gut common sense that we support Israel. We don't want to have men competing against women in sports. It's just basic. The border should be secure. Fundamental, simple things like that. And, I just kind of crunched some numbers on who Kamala Harris's best groups are and why the Democrats have a real problem. Her best groups are rich Americans, Americans with postgraduate degrees, and Americans who say they have no religion. If that is the base of the Democratic Party, wealthy postgraduates with no religion, no wonder the Democrats have lost their appeal to blue-collar working people and Hispanics.
Well, Ari, Ed Cox here. I think in her so-called concession speech, she was saying she's going to be the next leader of the Democrat Party with those principles.
Who knows and who cares? I mean, they're going to have their own Donnybrook coming up in 3 years when it's time. But notice it'll actually then be a primary. As opposed to a coronation. Let me step back, guys. I've been really thinking big picture, the massive issues. Here's what I think happened over the last couple of years. One, the Democrats foolishly indicted Trump. The indictment rallied Republicans to Trump, helped them defeat DeSantis in a primary, and made Trump just untouchable from a Republican point of view. Two, Joe Biden didn't keep his promise to be a transitional president. He decided to stay longer than he should have stayed, and therefore, when he did drop out, the Democrats denied themselves a primary to see if they needed an insurance policy. Was there anybody better than Biden? If so, put it to the test. So they got Harris untested, unvetted, and too late. And then three, she was just a terrible candidate. That's what did them in. Her flip-flops, her bad policies, her kind of empty-headed bubbleness trying to explain things. These are the big sweeping things that set up this race and allowed Trump to win. And that's so I like to go to the big picture, and that's what I say.
It's interesting. You talk about that. I also think of this one pivotal moment, Ari, when she was on The View and Friendly Media and asked her, how are you going to be different than Biden? As you're seeing 70% of the country says the country's going in the wrong direction in a big way. And her answer is, I can't really think of anything. Nothing comes to mind. I mean, and she's trying to be hope and change. Nobody bought it. It was hogwash.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by what a bad candidate that she is. Look, when I just studied her race against Biden's race in 2020, there is only one state she did better than Joe Biden, and that was Washington State, and it was by 0.2 percentage point. She did worse everywhere than the guy they dumped to put her on the ballot. And the Democrats got such problems now that even if they kept with the guy they dumped to put her on the ballot, Joe Biden would have done worse than Harris this cycle because he had an enthusiasm problem. So the top two people they put up were probably the worst two people the Democrat Party could have put up. If they had put up almost anybody else, Newsom or Shapiro or any other newcomer, they'd have had a better chance. But Biden was doomed and Harris was doomed. And that goes back to Biden's judgment. He picked her in the first place.
Right. And again, I still want to know the backstory of how the old switcheroo happened because
the only reason he picked her is because when he realized he got screwed by Obama, that he wanted to get even with him because he knew that Obama wanted to go a separate direction.
No, I think he picked her because of racial politics, racial identity.
Well,
that is such a powerful strain in the Democratic way of thinking that you get things because of your chromosomes as opposed to your abilities or you earned them.
But, Ari, this is Rudy Washington. Yes, there was a degree of that. However, I think she was given to him. There's no way my wife, after 2 months, you embarrass me on the national stage, call me a racist and everything else, and deny me busing, and 2 months later, she appears on the ticket? She was given to him. There were better black women. I mean, Stacey Abrams would have been far better than her. I mean, that make no sense.
Don't agree with that one. Don't agree with that.
Oh, no, not for us. For them. She would have been far better than Kamala.
Yeah, but Biden wanted, Ed Cox here, but Biden wanted someone who was weaker than he was as his vice president.
Okay.
That's really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I'll buy into that one, Ed.
But to your point, she never got a single vote until last night. Go ahead, Judge Weinberg.
All right, I want to ask you about the new growing resistance. You're already starting to organize the resistance against the second Trump administration. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think a lot of that's going to be muted now because they tried it before and it didn't really work. And it's just like the mainstream media. What they tried before is going to work less now than it did then because we've all been through this and we saw through this. So, yeah, there'll be resistance to Trump, and I understand that. There's still a lot of people who don't like him. And in our democracy, there's nothing wrong with fighting the guy, opposing the guy. But I just hope it's a more lofty resistance than the nonsense of Russia collusion and the Steele dossier and everything else they put the country through in 17 and 18.
Well, people who broke the law should go to jail. That's my opinion. I think Trump needs to put the right AG in there and don't tolerate this foolishness. He needs to make a strong statement about schools.
It goes back to my statement.
Yeah,
about statement about fraudulent voting. It should be a mandatory jail sentence, not a fine. Because if it's a fine, some person or some foreign government is going to pay the fine.
And Kat, look at all the hate speech at the universities. And you never heard anything from the White House.
Right.
Nothing.
Right. And by the way, before we let Ari go, Ari, your reaction to Kamala Harris, because she just came out, I don't know if you saw her quote concession speech, but part of it was, we got to keep fighting. We got to keep fighting. We're going to get in the town square. How did you read that?
Yeah, look, this is where I have a lot of latitude for words like that in politics. The normal words the opposition uses, and there's legitimacy to being the opposition. It's just how you do it. You know, if they start to try to charge Trump as an illegitimate president, all that nonsense we lived through for 4 years, that's out of bounds. If they just say, no, I think what you're doing is wrong on taxes, what you're doing is wrong on the border, no, we want illegals to stay. Let's fight that out. Put that through the public and the Congress. Nothing wrong with a loyal opposition. There was a lot wrong with the way they opposed Trump in this first term, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It was incredible. Ari Fleischer, thank you. We love having you here, Ari, on such an important day now that we have a new president-elect coming in, an extraordinary moment.
Great.
Thank you, Ari, so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you,
Ari.
With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows the resourceful individual to earn the very liberal rate of 4.5% APY on uninvested cash, receive unlimited 1% deposit bonuses, and be rewarded with the handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Get the privileges of the high net worth for any net worth for just $5 a month. Sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.